Good evening, everyone. So glad you all can join us tonight. Today is Saturday, May 15th, 2021, in the year of our Lord. And we're excited to have y'all with us tonight. While we're doing our commercial, why don't you share and like, or like and share and like while we are doing our commercial. Tyron, check out our commercial, Pastor. All right, y'all. Good day. Thank you. I couldn't do it without my engineers. My baby, my niece, and my daughter, Yanni and Alex and Yanni. I appreciate them from the bottom of my heart for everything they do to make this show great every week. And for one solid year and a couple of weeks, we've been doing Citywide Prayer Revival / Real Talk with Pastor Marty Peters. So, Facebook, you've been seeing my posts all this week about I have my little brother on with me this week. And let me tell y'all how we brothers. All right. It was at the California State Baptist Convention. I forget what year. It's over 20 years ago. It's got to be about 22, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
About 22 years ago, we were at the California State Baptist Youth Convention in Fresno. And Tyron Delbert Robinson walked in with a red suit on with some cowboy boots. And I was like, man, what the hell do you have on? He didn't have on a French cuff shirt. He had a button-up shirt on. And he had some cowboy boots on. I'm like, dude, where you from, man? You from Louisiana, Mississippi, somewhere? Oh, dude, I'm from Compton. You from Compton dressed like that? So I told him, dude, you gonna have to get your French cuff shirt if you want to hang out with me. It was Damian Miguel Epps who introduced us. Epps was like, Pete, I want you to meet I want you to meet Tyron. Tyron, he up in the Bay now. I'm like, oh, you in the Bay now? And instantly I took a liking to him. I'm like, man, listen, I don't even know you like that. I need you to do me a favor. I'm getting ready to go to Morris Brown College. This was in December. I'm leaving in January. I think I had maybe one more Sunday left at Victory, and I was gone.
That was 1996, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
95.
Now, was it 95?
It was 95.
Yeah, 1995.
It was 1995. It was December. It was actually December 1994.
No, it was 95. I think it was 95.
Okay, well, it must have been December 95.
Yeah, it was about to. It was the end of the. It was like what, Christmas Eve or something like that.
It was Christmas. It was after Christmas.
Right after Christmas.
Yeah, which is always the California State Baptist Youth and Young Adult Children's Convention. So anyway, I tells him, I was like, hey man, listen, I need you to go over and I need you, right, Bishop Kim, I need you to go over and be with my dad. I'm gone. I need somebody to look after my dad. I need somebody to look after my youth. And Tyron said, okay, man, I'm at Cal Berkeley. I'm like, well, man, I'm at Morris Brown in Atlanta. I'm like, all right, Doc, we from California. I'm like, dude, you need a church hall. I'm like, my dad is going to love you because I'm recommending you. And, you know, he kind of played the organ. He did a boom to the boom to the boom to the boom. He did a little boom to the boom to the boom to the boom.
You cold-blooded, man. You are cold.
He kind of played the organ a little bit. And he could preach. I got him out of those Monkey Man shirts. I got him in some gaiters and got him in some custom clothes and got him in a real shirt, a French cuff shirt. He became my little brother after I dressed him. The rest is history. We've been boys for about 25 years now, 26 years now. Facebook, I want you to welcome my little brother, the one and only Pastor T. Delbert. I'm not going to be calling him no T. Delbert all night long. His name is Tyron to me. You know, these big time pastors, these mega pastors, they change their name. They go in their middle names and stuff. You know, when they God elevate them and all that stuff, and they pastor, 7 churches at one time. But anyway, Pastor Tyron Delbert Burrell is my special guest tonight. Y'all already know it's going to be a silly night tonight. Tyron, say hello to everybody for me, Pastor Robinson.
Hey, what's up, Facebook and beyond, man? I'm just happy to be here with my big brother. It's been a number, many moons and years. Marty and I, when we started out, I had hair, and he would remind me of it. And so now I'm bald head prophet. This is my big brother. Love him. I love mom and dad and Sean and Shell, the whole family. We're family. Yeah, man.
Hey, man, your wife is on there. Hey, Jazz, I love you. Me and his wife went to the AUC together. She was at Spelman when I was at Morris Brown. And later, her little brother, PJ Morton, came on. I worked with him for years as we traveled across the length and breadth. I was there when Jasmine sung on our first CD. I was there. What's up, Jazz? Hey there, girl. His lovely wife. Jazz. I'm not gonna say this online, but when we get offline, I want y'all to FaceTime me so I can tell you something that you need to know. I think you need to know. This happened about 25, 26 years ago. You need to know, Jazz. That's right. Spelman in the house. Morris Brown in the house. What?
You really want to say it? I know you do,
man. Listen, me and your wife having a conversation, man.
I know
you respect your big brother.
I respect my elders. My old elders. It's gonna be a lot of this tonight. Facebook, I'm already telling you, he's been going for the last week. Yeah.
Dude, this is gonna be super fun tonight. It is.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so listen, you all, Jill, you want to say hi to everybody? Okay, the baby over here. Say hi to everybody. They go Uncle Tyron.
Oh,
Uncle Tyron.
Lord.
This is y'all. This
Hey.
is something's going on right here, y'all. This is Marissa, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, this.
Lord, have mercy.
Tell everybody how old you are.
5.
She's 5. Show everybody your
Big
teeth.
girl.
She missing teeth. All right. Okay.
All
right.
Good to see
Daddy
you.
love you. Bye-bye. Okay, see you later. Peace out, homie. So listen, you all, it's gonna be a great night tonight. I can't wait. I can't see the comments. I can't wait to get into this show. It is going to be a wonderful time. So first of all, Pastor Tyron, tell us a little bit about yourself. We all know you from Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, from Los Angeles, as you already stated. Truthfully, I've been pastoring now for 20 years, in 21st year. And prior to me being a senior pastor, your dad, when you sent me to your dad, that was my first shot at pastoring or participating in assisting a pastor. And man, Dad was so gracious to me. He'd go to Mississippi and call me while he was on the road and tell me, "It's in your hands." And I'd be like, "What's in my hands?" And man, he would leave me there a couple of weeks at a time. And so, man, I'm eternally grateful to Dr. Joel Ray Peters for giving me that opportunity while I was in college. In fact, I had just started preaching. I may have been only preaching maybe around like 2 years or so.
Yeah, it was about 2 years.
Yep. And so I learned so much at Victory. Victory is where I learned how to redeem yourself from going to Flunkersville, preaching through Sean, Beckton, Smoke.
That's not easy.
It's not easy preaching at Victory Baptist Church at all. And man, I really learned so much in the Bay. So truthfully, I began preaching right out of Compton. I'm from Carson, but I began preaching in Compton, California at New Holy Trinity Missionary Baptist Church. My pastor at the time was Pastor Gregory L. Tucker, Sr. And then right from there, I went straight to college. And I had kind of pitter-pattered around the Bay and got connected with a couple of churches. But when I met you at the convention and I went to Victory, I committed wholeheartedly to Dad and Victory, and the rest is history, man. I was there the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. Victory loved you so much after I had already preached twice. We were on 2 vans. We came for your installation service.
No, it was my ordination. Yeah.
When you got ordained into the gospel ministry, man.
1997. Yeah.
Yes, sir, Doc. We made sure we took that trip that summer, and we had church all day that long, and then to spend that night with you, and then to drive back home after we've been in service, 3 services, man, on that road. The Lord brought us through. It was a great opportunity. I wanted to tell you, I know I've told you privately, but I want to tell you in front of thousands of people that will see this, and that is thank you so much for your love for Dad and being at Victory. Thank you for playing the organ and preaching, and thank you for doing so much that you did there, and I greatly appreciate it. That's why when Mom and Dad asked about you last week, I FaceTimed you. And he got a chance to FaceTime Mama and Daddy last week. And he took out about 15, 20 minutes out of his busy schedule. And he is super busy. He presently pastors 2 churches in Los Angeles and is on his way to do mega ministry. I'm super proud of him. You ain't ever got to worry about your big brother being jealous of you. Now, some other guys will be jealous of you, but you ain't ever got to worry about your big brother being jealous of you. I don't envy you at all. I'm glad that God has elevated you. That just means I'll be preaching in New Orleans and in Atlanta. That's all that means. And I counted the blessing. Where you going? My little brother called me today. I'm doing both locations today. Like I'm preaching in 2 states today.
Boy, you're crazy. You're crazy. Let me give a shout out to mom as well. You know I love mom. I love mom and dad equally. Because when I was in college, you know, the Peters family, y'all are one of a kind. Remarkable, remarkable family. Hilarious. There is none like y'all. But the truth of the matter is, mom and dad were surrogate parents to me. You know,
Absolutely.
really watching out for me. Dad would take me out to eat at come on, help me out.
Denny's, Sizzler, the Buttercup,
Every weekend,
Carol's,
man.
probably Carol's.
Absolutely. And man, those are you know, those are the kind of godly spiritual parents that help you to get through the tough moments of college. And so, you know, big shout out to mom and dad alike. I love them dearly to this very day. Never will forget them. Yep.
I will, I will make sure that they watch this because it uploads to YouTube. So she'll be able. She like talking to her remote control, going to YouTube, and she can just talk and say real talk with Pastor Marty Peters, and YouTube will come up. So I've been watching her and dad do that, and so she
Sure.
will get. They will see this. They will see this.
Good
Um,
stuff, man.
listen, you all right? Let's get into it. Let's
Go
get into
for
it.
it. Let's go
We've
for
we've talked. So you preached
it.
in ATL for all of our mentor and
Yeah,
somebody that all of us look up to. A
absolutely.
man that changed this nation with Pentecostalism in the Baptist church and the
Right.
laying of hands and the speaking of tongues and mega ministry, recording artist. Bishop Paul Sylvester Morton Sr. has done so much for the body of Christ, and he's helped so many young preachers and pastors and preachers, men and women, across the length and breadth of this country. And
Right.
I got the word that you preached the church anniversary or something of that nature. You were in ATL. And, you know, although Atlanta is big, it's not that big. It's
Hmm.
not that big that I'm all the way in California and I hear some stuff. So I hear that you were on the preach, and in the words of Norwood Hills Jr. and Marty Peters, the Lord let you demolish that construction site. I'm gonna say it like that, but you already know what I want to say.
Y'all are too kind. Yeah, man. That was well, it started off, I had an opportunity to preach at Greater St. Stephen, I think, as you just said, first Christmas Day of 2017. And then Dad invited me to preach in the following March in Atlanta. So, you know, man, I'm nervous as a
I know you are.
long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I'm trying to pull my tail up. I'm so nervous, man. But it was a good day, man. The Lord really blessed. I had a great time. It was, of course, that was my first time preaching on a platform that large. God had blessed me to be in some places that I thought were large, but you know, when
Yeah,
God really enlarges your territory and exposes you to something, He could blow your mind in a matter of seconds. And so that was really a mind blowing situation there. And yeah, man, the Lord, I couldn't believe it. It was like I was walking on sunshine because, you know, like you said, I'm preaching for my favorite preacher. Not only
exactly.
that, it's his anniversary.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's like, man, I'm a kid in the candy store in one sense, but, you know, this is just a complete opportunity of a lifetime. And so we had a great time in the Lord. And then, you know, I'm reminded of moments like this, man, because uh, when Paul is in Ephesians chapter 3, he got all worked up. And then in chapter 4, verse 1, then he said, I, Paul, the prisoner of the Lord,
yeah,
meaning he remembered where he was. And I
yeah.
remember I had to come back home. You know, that was just one Sunday. But man, it was, you know, even coming back home, it began to change my level of confidence in preaching. It was just a really good moment. I pray that any preacher gets the opportunity to preach in somewhere that you dreamed about preaching, because it's a great feeling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if I should ask you this publicly in front of our audience, but did Bishop have any constructive criticism?
Not that I remember. Not that
Okay.
I remember. He was very gracious to me.
It was a good day there.
He was very gracious to me. I'm not good with this. I publicly admit it, but I was very conscientious of the time. And I do remember, a lot of people are like, whatever you do, watch that clock, So when I sat down, I think it was like a minute and 3 seconds on the clock. So I'm like, as long as it's something on the clock, I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how, when you preach for these mega churches, man. I remember the first time I preached for Freddie Haynes. Freddie looked at me and patted me on the shoulder. All right, little brother, let the Lord use you from 10:15 to 10:45. And that's it. I was like, okay.
Hey,
and
man,
then you go out there, it's like 1,500, 1,600 people just staring at you in your face.
Oh,
and
man.
Doc, I wired that thing down. I had closed and shut that thing down, Tyron, and it was like 10:42. Freddie said, Doc, holler one more time. I hollered one more time. He said, all right, Doc, you can sit down now.
Hey, well, all the years that I spent in full gospel, they train you that
Absolutely.
if you're on to do something, and whenever your time runs out, the anointing just lifted. So when the anointing lifts, you be seated.
Yeah.
And so, man, you want to be invited back, so you got to play by
Absolutely.
the rules. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? And so again, it was a great day. The Lord was really kind to me on that day, and yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. The word in ATL is that Tyron Robinson is a preacher. I said, that's my little brother. He always could preach.
To God be the glory, man.
I'm not gonna say he could always dress, but he had a nice suit on with those cowboy boots and that monkey man non-French cuff shirt. We got it right now. He got it now, y'all. Did y'all see his picture on that fly? He's so pretty.
You know what, man? You are cold, brother. Some folks just don't let you live down your past. They want to hold you in sin.
Jasmine, I'm being nice to your husband. He got it now. He don't need no help from his big brother. His big brother be checking out like, yeah, Doc, I dressed like you the other day. I'm like, all right, I'm just like my little brother today.
Well, to God be the glory. I'm glad I could be influential, man.
Yeah, you helped me.
Man, you're funny, man.
Jasmine told me to cut it out.
What did she say? Cut it. Oh, Lord.
She told me to cut it out. Jasmine, I'm just telling the truth. So, Pastor Tyron, tell us the churches that you pastor. She said you got it now, Doc. He got it now, Jazz. He got it. So, Pastor Tyron, tell us about, I know at your second location, you succeeded Kevin Stafford. But tell us about the first church you was pastoring before you went to Zebek.
Well, I'm currently as well at the Pilgrim's Hope Bible Church here in that church is in Los Angeles. The Zion Church is in Compton. But that church, 58 years old. Actually, tomorrow I'm celebrating, continuing. Well, this is my bittersweet anniversary because tomorrow is our 5th and final anniversary there at Pilgrim's Hope. I've been there 5 years, as I've said. And I got called there in 2015 after I'd been pastoring 2 churches that I founded, for 10 years. And we were going through that transition. And so we came and brought a group of people with us. And man, that's been a great ride at Pilgrim's Hope, to be very honest. And then in 2018, I believe 2019, staff got called to the Fellowship Baptist Church in Fresno.
Right.
And he then asked me, would I be interested in taking on the church? And so quite naturally, I was a little nervous because, pastor in Baptist churches and smaller Baptist churches, they don't want to hear nothing about no second location and all of that. But I prayed about it, and I went and talked to leaders in our church and kind of felt the climate of the church. And it was challenging at first, and it really put me to the test. That was really bottom line. They wanted to know how could I manage two churches and how could I handle it. So Pilgrim's Hope allowed me to be able to kind of spread my wings and go over to Zion. And so, man, for a good season, I was doing 2 services, like within 15 minutes of each other, because the churches are, it's only once the city of Watts separates Compton from the side of LA I'm on. So we would be caravanning through Watts to get to the other side. And yeah, man, it worked. Yeah. It worked out.
How was Pilgrim Hope with it when you first got called to ZBEC?
Oh man, they say they were good, but they weren't good at first. They didn't think we could pull it off because even though a pastor doing multiple sites is nothing new, man, my grandfather was doing this in the 40s and 50s in the country.
The South, though, in the
South, right?
Yeah, it's unheard of out this way.
Yeah, they don't do it in the West. So a lot of people were concerned. They thought I'd burn myself out. But I started explaining how it's no different than preaching 2 or 3 times on a Sunday if you got to do a 3:30 outing.
Yeah.
In fact, it's easier because I'm not running all over the place anymore. I'm just going between my 2 churches. And then every now and then we would have an outing. But, they eased up when they saw we were managing it really well. And it was starting to look good on us and look good for both churches. And so, man, they came all around, and became very supportive. Yeah.
So what time are your services now?
Well, pandemic, as you know, has changed everything. So prior to the pandemic, we were doing 9:15 and 10:30, something like that. Man, pandemic actually got amnesia sitting on me. But yeah, we were like an hour and a half apart. So while one service was ending, we'd have to hop in the car and go up the street to the next service. So I'd be walking in, right on time to raise the offering and preach. And so it was like that kind of situation.
Okay. So if some of the people couldn't get to Pilgrim for that service, would they come to ZBEC and the same vice versa? Or they pretty much stayed at their locations?
Well, every now and then we would get they'd sneak and peek on one another in the beginning, and then there would be some people that would try to frequent one or the other. But for the most part, they were really 2 separate churches. I was really pastoring 2 separate churches, 2 personalities in churches, 2 sets of leadership, 2 budgets. You name it, man. It was 2 of everything. It was like, like I'm Noah on the boat with 2 of every kind.
Yeah. And see, there's the difference between pastoring 2 churches and pastoring 1 church in 2 locations.
Sure, absolutely. One church and most people got it wrong. They thought that's what I was doing at first, and it was not the case at all. No. Especially when you start talking about the business of the church, because, man, in 1 week, I might have 2 or 3 different styles of business meetings that required 2 or 3 different styles of thinking. So, but when you're pastoring multiple locations, it's one system divided amongst several campuses.
Yeah.
This wasn't the case at all. So, yeah, we figured out how to make it work. It became a real smooth system.
So how long have you been doing both locations in Los Angeles?
I did it functionally for about 18 months before the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, I was still doing both locations, but I had to be really strategic. There were a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of conference calls, and they were separate. And then a couple of times we would come together as a family. We created this whole thing of a family network. So it was like, there were things we would do together, and then there were things we would do separately. But by and large, for the most part, everything was separate. That year and a half, it was really fun, man. To be honest, it was fun because it was never downtime. I love to stay on the go. It was never downtime. It was always something to do. So for a year and a half, we were doing those 2 services, and then we'd have Bible study on Tuesday night at Zion, and then Wednesday night at Pilgrim, and that would be our week, man. All day Sunday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. Doc, I did it for 2.5 years, one church in 2 locations, in Vacaville and in Oakland. And
Wow.
I've done it. I pastored Victory and Mount Carmel, my first church, at the same time. But, I ended up having a heart attack, Doc. I had to let Mount Carmel go.
Man.
Yeah, I had a heart attack November 11, 2010. November 11, 2010.
Wow.
Thank God I did no damage to my heart, but man, I was preaching sometimes 25, at least 2 or 3 times a Sunday, at least 25, 27 times out of the year. I was preaching 2 or 3 services because Victory had their afternoon programs. Mount Carmel had their afternoon programs. Victory had their church anniversary. Mount Carmel had their church anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Victory had Usher on your day. Mount Carmel had Ushers on your day. So not count on that just being there at our church, but also we got invited. And
right.
I mean, my schedule, I've been a busy preacher for a long time. For a long time.
Yeah.
And we would sit back, you and I, and we would talk about Bishop Paul Morton, Bishop Darrell Brister, Bishop Clarence McClendon. Man, we would our idols, man. We were coming up. We would talk about how they do these multiplications, locations, and in helicopters and in Lear jets and stuff like that.
Yep.
We talked about that, and now that's us. Now doing those same things more than you. I am big brother. I am older. I'll be 52 this year.
Man.
Your brother is old now. He's an old man now. I got about 20. Hold on. I got to get these. How old I am. Really? But we looked up to them. But now we're those senior pastors. Those pastors, sure. Bishop Morton has announced his retirement from pastoring, not preaching. I'm still sure he's going to be preaching all across
absolutely.
the country and still singing all across the country. But we watched those guys come up. We watched them on the Word Network, and we watched them on TBN, right. And we watched them all on these stations. And now to see you in that position, man, wow. God is amazing, man. In 15, 20 years, it's amazing what God has done with us and what God is doing with you. So, Bishop Morton, how did that phone call go when he wants to tell you? Did he sit you and Jasmine down? It was just you and him? Did he bring you in a staff meeting? How did this conversation go?
It was 5 minutes. He told me what he wanted to do and how it was going to go, and pretty much, said, get yourself ready for the most part. It was a very, very quick, mind-blowing conversation. It took a moment to process it. Well, put it like this. Me processing it was longer than the actual phone call itself.
Oh, Doc, this was a phone call?
It was a phone call. Yeah.
Yeah. Very brief phone call, huh?
Very brief and direct, man.
Wow.
Dad, hey, wait a minute. Richard Russell said, Dr. Peters, you have a Lear jet?
No. I don't even have a flying helicopter, a remote control helicopter.
I was waiting on somebody to get you when you said it. I was like, oh, it's coming.
I saw Rick said that. I ain't paid him no attention.
I said, it's coming. Yeah, man, it was a direct conversation. about what he wanted to do. And, we went for it, but it did. I'm not going to, I'd be lying if I didn't say it took me a minute to process it. I had to it paused me. Bernie Mac said, I got hit so hard, it really paused me. I was paused for a good hour or so because I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
All right. So your father-in-law called you. So I'm sure the next conversation is with your wife. How did that conversation go?
When she got up,
she already knew it, but she didn't say nothing to you.
No. When she got up off the floor, we were both paused.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a holy hush, a pregnant pause, a pious, like, what just happened? That it was really, that was a phenomenal season in our lives. Because you got to imagine, dude, we're right in the middle of the pandemic, and seemingly things are going well in our church, but to hear that again, man, you got to remember, for me, this is still my favorite preacher.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of like a kid that goes to the baseball game as a little kid, and you see the big league players and you get an autograph on the ball and you say, one day I'm going to play in the big leagues. And then you look up and you're playing on the same team with your favorite baseball player. Or I think Rajon Rondo is somebody's favorite basketball player right now, and they're on the same team, something like that.
Wow.
And, man, I was numb. I can't put it no other way. I think I was numb really for about a week and a half. I couldn't believe it.
So Bishop, you have that conversation with Bishop. It lasted 5 minutes. He tell you what he want. You and Jasmine are floored. So when is the next time you hold a conversation with him? You didn't call him back like, Dad, you sure you called the right person yesterday? You sure you want to tell me the conversation we had yesterday? You didn't do that?
No, I kind of I think I meant again, when I tell you I was floored for about a month. I'm going from a day to a week. The more I'm thinking, I was really petrified for a second. I didn't say a word because I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, man, that this is happening to me. And I just kept thinking, like, man, I'm just Tyron from Carson. So I didn't call back. I didn't say anything. Number one, I didn't want him to further petrify me. Number two, I didn't want him to say I called the wrong person. So I was like, I ain't saying nothing right now, man. I'll just wait for I'll keep paying my phone bill and wait for the phone to ring. Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, Doc, I called the wrong person, but I was sleep calling you.
Man. No, man, I'm like, Lord Jesus, this is crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a season. We went into a season. Really, it was a season of silence, a season of prayer. Because now we got to start positioning ourselves to announce to these churches what's about to happen next. So it was an interesting, phenomenal time, that portion of the journey.
So had any of your churches, either one of your churches, heard before you acknowledged to them what would be taking place?
No, not that I know of. They hadn't heard outside of me telling who I told. I had to kind of start putting it in the church bit and piece by piece as much as I could, but no one had heard it in the street because we're pretty good at we try to have integrity and be confidential, and it was so sensitive. That was the key thing. We really love the people in LA, and the people in LA and Compton, and the people love us. So we didn't want to hurt anyone, and we didn't want to make a fright and fracture the church in the process.
Absolutely.
So we had to be really strategic. It was stressful on us because of how strategic we had to be for the most part. But yeah, we took our time, really kept our ear to the ground, and no, it didn't get out. We I will say this, as best we could, in my estimation, we control the narrative as much as possible.
I agree with that
Yeah.
because you haven't, of course, the article that the LA Times or the magazine that
LA Focus.
LA Focus
Uh-huh.
um, did an awesome job with an article interviewing you,
Yeah.
and so that was enough for people if they can read, as Tyron said, if they can read the Bible. I mean, as Tolan says, if you can read the Bible, if they can read the article, they
Uh-huh.
clearly knew what was going on because you didn't leave any loopholes in the article. So I
Yeah.
applaud you and Jazz on that. I don't want to leave Jazz out. That's my sister.
No, no.
That's my
Jay, hey, let me tell you this, man. Jay's not because she's watching, not because she's my wife, but just as a person, she's a remarkable woman in terms of supporting me with balanced wisdom. We kind of put both of our heads together to walk through it, and we don't always get it right, but in this one, yeah, man, we went the extra mile to control the narrative because there's so many variables that were involved. Again, we didn't want to hurt anyone in our current situation, and this. Most people would be bragging and all of that, maybe, I don't know, but this was, for me, it was really a time of prayer and like, be
absolutely.
quiet, man, be quiet. I think you could say it was like uh, a holy hush, like a awe and adoration came on me. Number one, that God would even lay me on a man of God's heart to step into such a major role, and then two, uh, you know, I'm an avid Bible reader. There's a place in First Samuel where David said, "Who am I to become the king's son-in-law?" And
Yeah.
man, I've been saying
Wow.
this forever. I think it's like First Samuel 18. So there was a like a pressure on me, a personal pressure to level up, and I had only so much time, and I'm still in that mode to level up to be able to step onto this platform with consistency.
Yeah. Let me. You were just commending Jasmine, and it ought to be highlighted. She has watched two models in her life, in her mother and her father.
Sure.
She's watched it. She's watched her mother, Pastor Deborah Morton,
Hmm.
support her husband, Bishop Paul Morton Sr. She's watched that her entire life. She's
Yeah.
watched that coming up. Her and PJ. PJ have never had an organ lesson or a keyboard lesson. He was standing. He told us in college that he would stand there and watch the musicians play. And when they
Hmm.
got off the instruments, he would get on there and do everything they said do. And that ought to be commendable. Jasmine has always, even in college, I think the year, 2 years we were there together, but we did sing in the same community choir, and that is New Life Inspirational Gospel Choir. And that is Jasmine has always been very beautiful, laid back, quiet, non-controversial. And so for you to say she has totally supported you and she has given you some sound wisdom and advice is to be commended. Love you for that, Jazz, for looking out for my little brother. I appreciate you so much, sis.
Well,
Um,
good
yeah,
woman. Good woman. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
nobody, and Jasmine, in this whole thing, when we talk about her involvement and everything, she's one of a kind because, again, I want to be very clear with whoever's watching. See, I didn't get married for any of this.
right.
I didn't sign up for any of this.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, man, it's okay.
I I can go back 15 years ago with the first time Jasmine walked by, Doc. I almost had to pick you up off the ground because you was just standing with your mouth wide open, like. I'm like, come on, man, get it together, Doc. She ain't paying you no attention. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Jazz. Come on, man. Get it.
And let's set the record straight. I'm glad you said that. No, she didn't pay me any attention. She's always been 100 with me, and she's one of a kind. She came to my church in 2000, I think 2013, 14, something like that, to sing. And the truth of the matter is, we never crossed paths, never talked on the phone. Our staff handled everything with her. And man, my church was just that big. So for me to even say I had a staff, hey, thanks a lot.
I remember.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me to even say I had a staff to handle it, people were really gravitating toward our church and what we were doing. And so, man, this has been a pure God thing, the way that we have come together. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't sign up for any of this. I signed up for Jay.
Right.
For Jazz.
You were trying to sign up for Jay about 20 years ago. It didn't work out though, but 20 years ago, it didn't work out. So that's why I'm saying, without reservation or hesitation, Tyron Robinson didn't go after Jasmine Morton because he was trying to get a position or trying to get close to Bishop Morton. Bishop Morton was his idol. He looked up to Bishop Morton. I know that. I'm his big brother. I know it for a fact. So any of you haters that want to come on here and suggest he only married her because he was trying to get next to Bishop Morton, man, Tyron wasn't thinking about Pastor when he first saw Jasmine and laid eyes on her. And there's something else that y'all need to know about Jasmine Morton, and that is she can sing the horns off a billy goat. People don't always say that. Jasmine Morton can sing like her mother and father can sing, and like PJ can sing. They are gifted.
Yeah, and you know, man, it is interesting how God will bring people together and turn situations and all that kind of stuff, man. So, yeah, preaching for Dad was one thing. Being considered for pastor is something totally different. The preaching was like, okay, cool, man, this is fun. This may be annual, or maybe I'll get invited every other year. No big deal. It was just cool. But to be here where I am right now, I'm still making the adjustment. And again, I bring up Jasmine because I've been I make no bones about it. I've been in the smaller church all my life, all of my pastorates. I pastored 7 churches, thus far, no, 6, I'm sorry. 6 churches. I've never got put out of a church. And
me neither.
I've been pretty successful in terms of growth. One church grew to like 250. I don't know where any of those people are because I didn't have administrative skills and all that. But in doing all of that, I guess it was God's way of preparing me to level up. And so with all of that being said, I'm grateful to God for Jay because Jay has spent more time in the mega church. So
absolutely.
It's like we have the best, but in the smaller church, when you preaching to a handful of people and you got Sean and like I said earlier, Sean and Beck.
Oh, he just logged on. He watching.
Man, Sean, you were cruel, boy. I'm telling you. They would be talking about, Doc, you at Calvary. You at Calvary, Doc. The Undertaker's at the door. Man, you got to learn how to preach through heckling like that, man. Brother.
Dude, I almost choked because that's that's that preacher talk and stuff that I would be saying in front of them, and they're hearing and going back. Doc, you missed your exit. I mean, Doc, I remember I was at the National Baptist Convention, and I'm not gonna mention his name, but this guy was from the South somewhere, and he messed around. He was not shot on here laughing. He was not doing that good at late night at the convention. And he messed around and said, all right, now, children, as I hurry to my close. And like somebody was on the other side of the auditorium and said, Reverend, hurry up, Reverend. Doc, I ran out of the Doc. Sorry, I promise you, it was in Orlando, Florida in 1995.
Man, but I'm very serious. in all of that heckling, Victory taught me how to be a focused preacher. Man, I'm telling you, I feel like there's sometimes I can preach through hailstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes. I learned that Victory. I'm dead serious, man. I learned on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And in the small church, all eyes are on you at all times. So,
Yeah.
in the large church, it's a whole lot of people watching you, but it's easier to zone out. But man, and even now, man, in the smaller church, when they fall asleep on you, you see people sleeping right up in your
Yeah.
grill. You're
Yeah.
like, hey, you got to wake up. Ain't gonna be no sleeping in there. Are you crazy?
Hey, Tyron, shout out here said, "You welcome, Doc."
I'm sorry. That's my brother right there, man.
Doc, your brother is crazy, Doc. But they would holler at Doc. Doc, landed, Doc. Okay, Doc, you missed it today, but we'll give you another try, another Sunday. Victory will say stuff like that. Even right now, Doc, my babies be like, oh, okay. All right.
Man. Yeah,
Gonna do better next week, stuff like that, Doc. We still got hecklers. We got young hecklers now.
It was funny. This is the funniest moment. You were in college and I was getting into full gospel, right? I'm laying hands. So I can't remember who I laid hands on and they fell out. And I left them in the middle of the floor. And Shell hollers out. Shell says, "You just gonna leave them in the floor like that?"
Sounds like something she would say.
In the middle of the service, you just gonna leave them in the floor like that?
Sounds like something Shell would say, Doc. Your big sister would say.
So I learned how to handle call and response at a whole nother level, man.
Oh yeah, Doc. It's different at Victory. It's different.
Yeah, I learned how to handle it. So I really appreciate that. And again, to bring it full circle, man, Jasmine is such a help to me with learning how to walk the ropes without stumbling and fumbling and all that. And we kind of help each other, truthfully. Because when she came and has been with me, she's been first lady at our church for 4 years, and man, it's interesting when the size of that crowd starts zooming in on you. So we've been there working with each other and growing each other up, and she's remarkable.
Yeah. Well, I will say this: that the Lord bless you with a great one. And,
yeah, man.
The Lord bless you with a great one, and you deserve it, especially for this season. Especially for this season in your life, you need somebody great, and you need somebody disciplined. And like you said, she's been a preacher's kid all her life.
Right. She fits the script. Now, let me say this to you. I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, man, but also she is becoming an amazing preacher very quickly.
It's on her.
It's on her, and I can testify to this, man. This is real talk. When we first got together, I thought it was going to happen faster than it did. And, she kind of was like, man, back up off me, bro. I ain't preaching. So I left her alone. And then one of those Sundays where I ain't gonna lie, man, I don't hit a home run every Sunday. I felt like I went to Flunkersville, set up shop.
Yeah, I did last Sunday.
Yeah, man, I felt like that was the worst Sunday preaching. We get in the car and we going home, and she's like, "I got something to tell you." I started having flashbacks of Victory, like she was gonna tell me I died. I promise. I'm like, what is she about? My mind is like, if she tell me I died, man, I'm gonna get out the car. I'm gonna let the car drive itself home, and I'm gonna walk on the freeway and go home. But she was like, "I've been called to preach," and I'm like, "All right." And I started from that day forward. Everything changed, and man, she studied. When I say she studies She really studies to do it. And man, the other day she messed around and yanked it, Doc. I'm like,
Jasmine, shut up.
Yeah, she yanked that. She blew her horn. I was like, never mind, little boy blew. She blew it. I'm like, whoa.
Well, her mama and her daddy can sound the alarm.
Oh, yes, sir.
Bishop Morton got him, as J. Alfred Smith told me one day I was closing. When I got finished closing, Dr. J. Alfred Smith said, Marty, you have an organ in your throat.
I've always told you this. Wait a minute. I'll wait till you come back because I want to look you in the eye and say it. I know you're saved and you love God and you're going to heaven, but you're gonna go through hell at least a little bit. You're gonna tiptoe too.
He told me that at BB Memorial one year.
Why you got to do the voice? Why you just couldn't tell the story, man?
I did tell it. I told it just like he said it. He said, Marty, you have, and he was doing my throat, you have an organ in your throat.
You are hilarious, man.
Maureen's face is over here cracking up laughing. Shine is.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Marty Ray Peters. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, y'all know I'm telling the truth. That's what he said it just like that. That's what he said.
Hey man, but seriously, I want to thank you though, because some of the things that I've been benefited from my days at Victory. Man, you were introducing me to guys from Atlanta that are now staples in Atlanta. I mean, real talk. This is real talk. God bless the memory of Bishop Stephen B. Hall. It is because of you, man, that I was able to even shake hands with Bishop Hall. The very first time I ever heard him preach. Most people are stuck on the YouTube of him at Uncle Jimmy's church, of New Beginnings in Atlanta. No, you gave me a tape of him at New Bethesda, Cedric Hamner, when he was at Mary, what is it?
He was at St. Mary in Athens.
Man, and those guys, now I was looking up to those guys, and many of them I have formulated relationships with them through my time at Victory, and so I really appreciate you for that, man. When you see, as a preacher, when you see better, you do better. Sometimes you got to see it to become whatever it is God will have you to become. And so, man, you bring those guys through there and meet those guys, and that was really a really good time. Y'all on here cracking up.
Dude, Tammy over here talking about forgive him, Lord.
I'm telling you, you need
Doc,
forgiveness.
Listen, man, Doc, I'm still close with Van, Steve's wife, and we talk weekly. Just let her know, hey, your brother love you. How's the church doing? How you doing? Sure. And Van was sick with COVID, man, for a minute, and thank God she's totally healed and everything. Wow. She's doing a wonderful job with the church. The church is growing. I watch her, and Doc, I had a laugh, and so when Steve in 2017, Steve did our citywide revival in Oakland.
He sure did. I heard about that. Yeah,
Doc. And one night I had him on there, man. It's like 30,000 people have watched that just on my Facebook page. Like 30,000 people have watched that. It's been like 200 or 300 shares of people watching him close his sermon out. And I said, Van, you just don't know. Steve, we had the time of our lives that week. Listen, I dropped John Terrius off at Southwest. He did Youth-A-Rama at 3:00 that day. Dropped him off. His plane was leaving at like 7:30. Steve was coming in at 6. So Marcus is driving me, my armor bearer. We dropped John Terrace off at Southwest, come around a couple of times. He dropped me off at Terminal 1. Steve is coming down the hall. He flew on Delta into Oakland. And Doc, he comes down the hall. And Doc, we just bust out laughing as he's coming down the hall. He's like, hello there, Doctor. You know, Doc, just that silly stuff that we did in Atlanta. And Doc, from that moment on, all the way until I dropped them off to the airport that next Saturday, which was been like 6.5 days, man. Doc, we laughed every day. And Charles Doc, for hours until they would have to kick us out of the restaurant. Now, remember, they own Eastern time and they own Central. Is that Central? They own Central time. And so they 2 hours, 3 hours ahead of time. But man, that one time, and I'll tell you what he said after this show. I'll tell you what he said, because I cannot say this will never get out from me. But I mean, Doc, we told jokes, we laughed, we talked about our time in Atlanta. I mean, Doc, Steve would have me preaching his all-night praise-a-thon. And Doc, I would get up to preach at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's like 400 or 500 people still in there wide awake, jumping and bumping. And I'm like, Doc, I'm asleep. Y'all got a room here. I can take a nap and then come back and preach. But we would laugh about that, man. We would laugh about a whole lot of stuff. And Van was like, Pete, you don't understand. You think he changed your life that week by y'all hanging out. She's like, he talked about that for 3 or 4 weeks, and he would just bust out laughing. That Pete is crazy. He drive crazy. Him and his kids went to eat with us one day. They were just clowning at the table, Doc. Because, Doc, when we all get together, it ain't nothing but laughter and comedy. Because my kids act just like me.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. God bless them. Beautiful, sweet, beautiful cheering.
I mean, it's straight up comedy, Doc. So Van was like, Pete, you don't understand. He talked about that. And then, Doc, he was out here for 6 days, so he couldn't go back to sleep when he was in Atlanta. So he was like, ain't nobody up but Pete. So let me call it for Doc. 4 or 5 days, man, he called me. Man, I can't go to sleep. I'm on California.
Wow.
So, Doc, I would talk to Steve until he would fall asleep about 3 or 4 days when he got back to Atlanta, because he was wired. Wow. He was up, man. So man, when you said that, it's still hard for me. For me to, you know, it's been a year and a couple of months now, but
man. I'm gonna be honest, man. I've met a lot of great preachers through Victory and through you, Harry Forts, man. I've met so many preachers.
My pastor, Bishop Dreyfus Cortez Smith, ATL, Tyrus.
Lord.
Bishop Smith called you Tyrus.
That's the bishop there, Wings of Faith. I met so many people, man, and I'm grateful to God for that season of my life, because I believe every phase that you go through in your life, you go through that phase to be able to learn from it and grow from it. Some folks don't learn from anything. Yeah. But, man, I never forget. I try to be an almanac of preachers in the Bay Area. That it was a great training ground for me, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tyron, Delbert. Hey, man, sir. You know your big brother's going to always call you Tyron until I close my eyes.
I already know.
Even when I'm dead and gone, when you pass by, I'm be like, what's up, Tyron?
I'm going to tell you what, listen. First of all, I'm glad I ain't got to preach in the morning, but you're not going to make me lose my voice laughing.
I'll be like, what up, Tyron?
That was a good one, man. That was a good one.
Okay. All right, let's get back to realness. All right, thank you. That was our comedy hour for the last 5 minutes. So, bro, when do you relocate and get us married?
Man, Murray, we've been wondering for years. For years.
Tyron. Peace out, Tyron. I said it, Tyron. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to call you Delbert.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hey, but see, you know what? Really, man, it's a twofold story. One side is too serious for you right now, so I'll save that part for another time. But the truth of the matter, no, I mean, really, man, my dad died when I was 6, and he gave me my middle name. I hated my middle name. Okay. I hated it, and then I started embracing it as I got older. But the truth of the matter is, so many people mess up Tyron. I'm like, dude, Byron, Tyron, it rhymes. Byron, Tyron. They mess it up so bad. So, I go places and people would see there is no E on my name. And we present to some and introduce to others, Reverend Tyron Robinson. And I'm like, man, so then my whole church, my church got some hecklers too, dude. Real talk. They started, it's Tyron. You can't read? All that kind of stuff. Oh, man. So I just started, hey, look, do T. Delbert. You can't mess that up. It's syllables, T. Delbert. I mean, if you mess that up, then God bless you. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, you were asking. Yeah, you were asking when does the assignment? How does everything?
So when is your? I don't know if I can ask you this. When is your last Sunday at in Los Angeles?
Oh, and, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We're going to finish up first Sunday in June here. And then we're going to take a little time, little QT time to make transition and all of that kind of stuff. And then we'll be in the South starting in August. Okay. Yeah. So we got some breathing time, man. First of all, like I said, I've been doing this two churches here for enough time where we didn't. It'd be hard to get a break sometimes. So we're going to do as much as we can to get a break in between and then start our new life and start our new assignment. And so looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. LA has been great. I can't complain. Oakland has been great. LA has been great. Man, God has been good through this whole transitional time. I've actually spent 20 years here pastoring almost to the day.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow. I remember. Yeah. I remember. Like I said, Victory rented 2 vans and we drove and churched all day and then drove home that night. We had to be there. I was on the catechizer.
Yeah, y'all wanted. My uncle is with Jesus. I'm telling you, y'all Oakland Bay Area people wanted to jump my uncle because he threw me a curveball in my catechism and cheated me out of getting 100% on my test. Yeah, I remember that.
That sounds like Victory again.
Well, it was led by you. Y'all was gonna beat my uncle up. I was like, there.
Well, he was wrong. How you gonna throw me under the bus? It was my fault. Really? I guess I led the revolt, huh?
Yeah. You were one of a kind leader, brother.
Yeah, little Jesus, a little Malcolm.
Yes, Lord. But yeah, man, y'all came down, and from there, man, I think that was July of '97, and I started pastoring in 2000 of August. So it was a couple of years, and that was that '97 to 2000 was the time that I spent in full gospel, learning to serve.
Yeah,
I started serving your dad, but when I got into full gospel, man, it was really all about serving. Yeah, so back to the plan. Yeah, we'll be out of here. We'll start in August in the South, and as you know, I'm one pastor in 2 states.
No, that's not Tyron. That's not clear. So let's bring some clarity to that. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching, thank you all so much for watching tonight as I have a conversation with my little brother, the new pastor of the Changing a Generation Full Gospel Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, right on the other side of Tyler Perry Studios. One side of the street is Tyler Perry Studios. The other side of the street around the corner is Greater St. Stephen. Changing Generation.
No, that was before. We by ourselves now, yeah. No, that ain't where it is anymore.
Oh, he moved the studio. That's right.
Yeah.
He bought Fort McPherson. That's right. He bought Fort McPherson.
We're on the Greenbrier Parkway side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right down the street from Greenbrier Mall. Absolutely. And, I forgot Tyler Perry did buy Fort McPherson right in front of Old Wings of Faith in East Point. In East Point. That's where I joined Wings of Faith under Bishop Draper Smith at that location. Okay. Yeah, he's in Conley now, in Conley, Georgia.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah, they're in Conley. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only will he be pastoring in Atlanta, Georgia, Changing the Generation Full Gospel Baptist Church, but he also will be pastoring because Bishop Deborah Morton will also be retiring. They are retiring together from Greater St. Stephen. So he will be pastoring in Atlanta and pastoring in New Orleans. Yep. He will be in New Orleans. So I don't know how you're going to do all that. Maybe you can tell us how you're going to do all that.
Well, it's the system is simple. And first of all, let me clarify, both mom and dad, they're not fully retiring. They're doing what's called semi-retirement. And the way that it'll work, Jasmine and I will be together. So we'll be in New Orleans, for example, 1 week. When we're in New Orleans, they'll be in Atlanta preaching. And then when we're in Atlanta, they'll come to New Orleans and we'll continue to flow back and forth like that. I'll be overseeing day-to-day operations, teaching Bible studies. So the brunt of the load with that'll be on me, but we'll share the preaching responsibilities. Moreover, you can expect to hear from Jasmine. I mean, it's going to be like a family affair. And so I'm really excited about that. You know, it's like we're a preaching team.
Yeah. Preaching family.
Yep.
Yeah. The Mortons and the Robinsons.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you will start. So you'll start the first Sunday in August in Atlanta?
I believe in New Orleans.
In New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the next Sunday you'll be in ATL.
Yep.
Got you. Looking forward to it.
This is going to be fun, man. So y'all pray for me out there, everybody watching. Please do pray on me. Don't P-R-E-Y.
Exactly.
P-R-A-Y for me, please.
Exactly. So what's your biggest fear? Because to stand in the shoes of Bishop Paul Morton Sr. and Pastor Deborah Morton is not easy for you and Jasmine. Those are some shoes. Like I said, Bishop Paul Morton has changed the culture of church singing, embracing the spiritual gifts, mega ministries for a long time. And of course, he knows that he's watched you. He's watched you from afar and watched you up close. And I don't believe he would have put you there if he didn't think that you can handle that job.
Sure.
I know you. I know what you're capable of. You've been operating in the gifts of the Spirit. You've been doing that. And so go ahead. What's one of your biggest fears of succeeding your father-in-law?
Man, I think one of the biggest fears of succeeding him is succeeding him. Again, it goes back to that pause that I had, that holy apprehension. I don't want to say fear per se, but there is a holy awe that I have. You know, I try to be fearless as a leader, but in my heart, you know, you just don't want to. Number one, you don't want to let God down, of course. You don't want to let your family down, but also just personally being able to deliver on a regular basis. I want to be able to deliver consistently. And I pray God he'll give me a rhythm that I could find that rhythm that I've been able to find over the last 20 years. So the fear of not finding that rhythm, man, it's like David saying, I searched for the Lord and he couldn't be found. I don't ever want to get to the place where I can't find him. I
Wow.
can't find that rhythm of grace. And I really pray, man, more than anything, that just continuing to be myself, don't get caught up in anything, and that's not a fear. I think that's more of a discipline. I think to answer your question, if there's any fear I have is getting so washed away with going to another dimension that I lose me, the
Yeah.
me that I've been. I enjoy being me, and so yeah, that was a great question. I think that's the first time I've been asked that.
I'm your big brother.
Yeah,
Big brother.
yeah,
Big brother asks good questions.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if that's your biggest fear, what is your greatest joy? Smoke on here
Man,
too. Don't be clowning.
that's what me and Sean. Oh Lord, 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 Lord.
Smoke
I
said
think
him and Shy gonna visit you to make sure you don't change.
here we go with the smoke and shine crew. Man, real talk. My greatest joy is that me and Jay get to be together and have fun doing this together. Cause man, uh, after I left Victory, I got a sense of humor, number one, and you had driven me a little crazy, so I got crazy, a little bit like you. So we tell jokes and we're laughing at everything, our codes and all that. I could not see doing ministry without having Jasmine as my best friend right there, so I could have somebody to joke around with and laugh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all the
Yeah.
stuff we will not go on into on camera and all of that. That's the greatest joy. And actually, Dad designed the system that way that we could be together the whole
Absolutely.
time. So, man, I'm really glad about that because truth of the matter is, I'm bashful to a degree. You know, I'll shut down in a second and won't have anything to say, and so we bounce off of one another with that, and that makes it really sweet. Makes it
Yeah.
really sweet. Makes it feel real good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it, man. Like I say, Doc, I am super excited for you. Can't wait to installation time
Sure.
comes. We getting better. I'm fully vaccinated, so uh,
Likewise.
I ain't been on no plane yet since Steve Hall's funeral, and
Wow.
I refuse to get on the plane just yet. I'm still a little scared. I'm a little scared.
Hey, man, I understand. Yes,
But I
Lord.
will put on 2 masks and some gloves and layers of clothes to come to come see you. And I am gonna be in Atlanta in October. I'm going to Morris Brown homecoming. We got our accreditation back, so I'm going to homecoming.
Praise the Lord.
What's up, Doc? We got,
You got it. You got it back.
yeah, we
Yes,
got it
sir.
back. Cal
Yes,
Berkeley,
sir.
don't start. Cal Berkeley, don't start. I went to a
Nothing,
small
man.
HBCU. Y'all didn't run
Nothing
out
for
of
me.
money.
Nothing for
Yeah,
me. I got you. I got you, man. I
yes,
got you.
sir. Yeah, man.
Man,
So we grateful for you and Jasmine, how the Lord has elevated for you. Thank you for Bishop Morton hearing the voice of the Lord and having that brief
yes.
5-minute conversation of telling you what you're gonna do and how it's gonna be done. And bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was. I wish I could have been on that phone call, muted on that phone call to hear him tell you, "Okay, bye. I'm finished talking to you now. Never needed you. Goodbye. Have a good night."
Yeah, I gotta go, man. I have laughed. I've laughed my voice. Man,
You ain't preaching tomorrow.
now you got me over here sweating under my hat.
I got it.
I'm,
Well, you ain't got no hair for it to roll. It's just gonna roll down. Your hair, you'll never find. I mean, your hair left a long time ago, dude.
I, and you're not going to. If you're not gonna make these people
Pull that
think.
hat off.
You're not gonna make these people think that I live this hellbound life with Marty Peters. I have to pick my words with you. Mark, you're still a fool, man. You are a fool, man. Completely.
Oh, man. Doc, I'm having fun with my little brother, man.
Absolutely.
On a great note, man. I have enjoyed this. Thank you for taking time out. I know you
for
are
having me.
extremely busy. Jasmine laughed when I said you pastored 7 churches at one time. Just 4 right now.
Hey, can I put a plug into your audience real quick? Hey,
course.
Listen, if you're watching me tomorrow, you can speed over to my Facebook channel at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's my anniversary. One of my big brothers, he's in town right now from Atlanta, Georgia, Bishop L. Raynard Catchings. Bishop L. Raynard Catchings. He's going to preach my anniversary in the morning. Oh, yeah, and Marty, Chris is here to play for him. And, oh, man, we're going to have a great time in the Lord. Yeah, man. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time. If you're not at your church, check us out on Facebook. Otherwise, come back and watch the replay. And, man, it'll be a great time in God.
Good, man. Yeah. Yes, sir, Doc. That Chris is anointed, Doc. He traveled with Bishop, which was like a father to him, man, for years and years.
Yeah.
And Chris was here with him when he came and did Oakland Citywide, Doc. Chris was at the table laughing with us all night long, too. I kept them boys up all night, man.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, man, Murray said, you're going to have people thinking I'm not saved dealing with you.
You know what? Murray, you just put your bed in the kitchen tonight and you sleep your tail in the kitchen right next to the refrigerator. He make me sick. He always got little jokes to say.
All right, Doc, I'm done.
Murray, big people should be seen and not heard. Oh, he make me sick. I'm calling him when I get out the bar. That's the 3rd time saying that today. But I love him. Murray is the reason why I preach in Pacific Grove, Seaside, Monterey, and all that right now, Doc. He took a chance on me and preached. Hey, man, my boy Kemp said that your preacher, Catchings, is a preacher, Doc. He's somebody's preacher.
That's my big brother as well, man. Yes, sir.
Cool. Look forward to meeting him, Doc. Look forward to meeting him.
Absolutely. Good guy to know. Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Well, man, we wish you the best.
Thank you.
And we pray that God gives you the Midas touch, that in this season, whatever you touch, that the Lord may prosper it, enlarge it, and grow it, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Love you, boy. Hey, Tyron, why don't you lead us in a word of prayer for the world, the nation, for this coronavirus. Don't forget to lift Mama, that God totally heals her hip. She's doing good. She's a fighter.
Okay.
Mama ain't giving up. So just pray for churches tomorrow. Pray for pastors and pray for us.
Let's do it. Father, in the name of Jesus, first of all, I thank you for this opportunity to share with my friend and my brother. I thank you for what he's doing in the kingdom there in the city of Oakland. And I pray that you will continue to strengthen the work of his hand. I pray for everyone watching us right now. I pray for preachers, pastors, fivefold ministry gifts, people in general, that you will continue to keep us, watch over us. Now, Father, for every pastor that's watching, that's preparing for tomorrow, I pray right now, God, that you will put your word in their mouth, that as they preach, they'll preach with conviction, and someone will come connecting, figuring out what to do to be saved. God, we lift up Mother Peters before you right now, asking that you will heal her, rejuvenate her, restore her hip back to new, in fact, better than it's ever been before.
Thank you,
and
God.
Then, God, for everyone that has been struggling with coronavirus, Lord, we first of all acknowledge that it did not come from you, but we know that you were involved in the process of causing all things to work together for our good. And so now we thank you that Psalm 91 is ours, and we'll continue to dwell in the secret place of the Most High God. God, continue to guide us, continue to strengthen us, and keep us. By the strong name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Love y'all. Listen, y'all, if you have been blessed tonight and you want to sow a seed in the ministry of Real Talk, there is the scroller at the bottom of the screen. You can let the Lord use you if that's your desire. We don't beg for anything. If it's on your heart, pray to God will tell you what to do. All right. Love you, boy. I'll talk to you later,
Love you
man.
too.
Happy
Yes,
anniversary.
sir. Thank you, man. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye, everybody.